Yes, we do. Hello, everybody, and welcome live to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan hockey. Today, we have a spectacular matchup on slate for us tonight with the number 3 Michigan Wolverines set to play the number 2 Minnesota Golden Gophers. My name is Neal, Sinha, and I'm joined alongside with Zachary Linder. Later in this game, we'll have Owen Crain helping us with the broadcast here, but we are about to get underway here in Yost Arena. Zach, very, very quick thoughts on what Michigan needs to do today to get this win.
Well, I think the biggest thing, obviously, Michigan's going against their top competitor for the number 1 spot in the Big Ten. Biggest thing, I think, just jump out early and gain momentum.
Most definitely, and Minnesota wins the faceoff early with it. It's Snuggerud for the Golden Gophers. He's their leading goal scorer on this season for the number 2 Minnesota team. Gophers passing it around in their own defensive zone here. And Michigan steals its Rutger McGroarty with the shot deflected out. Wolverines have it back now. Luke Hughes has it up the right wing. Hughes still with it. Gets pressured from Nyes for the Golden Gophers. Michigan then turns it over. And here comes Minnesota trying to get out and running here. It's Johnson with the shot, loses it, and Portillo will just put a glove on that early here. So just 19:04. We're just a minute underway in this first period. Once again, number 2 versus number 3 today. It doesn't get too much better than that. What does Minnesota bring to the rink that makes them so dangerous? Why is this team so good, Zach?
I think really just look at the whole team, and they're a very well-rounded team in all fronts, and that really is what makes them so dangerous in all aspects of the game.
A quick screener for the Gophers. Shot no good, though. Portillo with the save. LaPointe now throws it forward. Eventually, they turn it over. Portillo has it back. He'll ring it around towards LaPointe. Michigan now has it right behind their own goal. It's number 26, Seamus Casey. Out wide to Edwards. Ahead for the Wolverines. All the way to Minnesota's goal, Owen Bartoskevich. Here comes Coaster now. Brings it up. A little floater towards Portillo. Nothing doing there. And then we will get an icing call.
Well, it just feels like early on, neither team really developing any sort of sustained attacks. First couple minutes here, just the puck going back and forth. Minnesota has 2 shots, Michigan none, but no real quality chances yet.
So quick face-off in Michigan's defensive zone here. It's Middlestat who does not win it for Minnesota. It'll be Michigan puck here. Here's Luca Fantilli. His brother Adam Fantilli is out, along with a couple other Wolverines today, including Stephen Holt, who is in the hospital with an illness. This Michigan team has a big uphill battle considering the amount of players that they're out tonight. Wolverines just fight forward, but again, we'll have another icing call here. It was Fantilli trying to looked like Rutger McGroarty on the right wing.
Yeah, I think this is what Michigan can't afford to do. That's already 2 icings. And as he just mentioned, it feels like there's no real strategy to the attacks. They're just trying to get the puck down to the Minnesota side, but it really hasn't been working so far.
Wolverines. We have very interesting name, Pinanimi for the Gophers. Wins the faceoff, and then eventually Portillo gets a glove on it. A little bit of extracurricular activity after with Marcus Stappa. Nothing really doing, though. We'll have another face-off in Minnesota's offensive zone here. Just 2.5 underway in this first period. The Wolverines will bring their first stringers, their first lineup kind of back on. Mackie Samskovich is on the rink now. Pinanimi now for the Gophers wins it. Goes out wide to Johnson. Forward to Pinanimi. Portillo able to get right in front of it for the meantime. Wolverines get back. Samskovich. Forward turns it over. Here come the Gophers once again. It's Lacombe, loses it. Michigan has it right back. Dylan Duke now racing forward. Unable to hold on to it. Michigan puts him in the ring cycle right there, and Samskovich loses the puck, though. Here comes Cooley. Great bit of dribbling by Cooley. Back out Johnson. Fires a shot, gets deflected off Samskovich. Gophers still looking around. Skating around the right wing now. Nice, fighting for it with a couple of Wolverines. Just no sense of possession early here between, frankly, either team. Jones now will get it for Minnesota. He dumps it off. Now Cal Thomas goes out forward. It's Snuggerud. Tries a shot on Portillo near post. No good. Casey now fighting for it behind his own goal. Edwards up forward to Ciccolini. Granowitz. Ciccolini now racing forward up the right wing. Looking for a shot. He takes one. Saved by Bartskevich. Minnesota now has back near the Michigan logo. Here come the Gophers, and down goes Minnesota. Maybe a tripping call. We'll see what they do with that. Michigan goes back to their defenders here. Number 20, Keaton Pearson in. Throws it forward. McGroarty loses it. Coaster now forward for Minnesota. Pearson unable to hold on to it for the Wolverines, and LaPointe now fighting forward with Fantilli. Goes forward to Estapa. Finds Samskovich. Some solid passing here for the Wolverines. Samskovich then gets lit up on the boards, and Minnesota has it right back. And it goes all the way around as the Golden Gophers just fired it forward. It'll be an icing call. Michigan will have a face-off in the Minnesota zone.
I think this is going to be very telling. They haven't been able to sustain anything offensively. Minnesota really hasn't either. They get the face-off here. They, I think, really need to win this face-off and then mount an attack, keep the puck on the Minnesota side and not just turn it over right away.
Gavin Brindley wins the face-off for the Wolverines. Luke Hughes now.
And once again, they clear it back, and Wolverines still can't build an attack.
Yeah, just as you said, Minnesota easily gets it right back. Maybe they have their own possession troubles with Wolverines applying quite a bit of pressure deep in the Minnesota zone. Luke Hughes now goes back for Michigan. He goes forward looking for Dylan Duke. Unable to handle it. And around we go once again. Good pass forward to Pitalik. Middlestad was looking for it from Minnesota. Now it's Lacombe with it on the right. Goes back to Middlestad. Pitalik. Oh, the shot into the goal. Oh my goodness. Eric Portillo did not really see that one coming. Just top shelf shot by Rhett Pitlik. And Minnesota is on the board early here, 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, just really not a... Just Portillo had an opportunity there. Just went right over him on his left side. But I also think, again, well, not that the Gophers have done that good of a job maintaining offensive possession, but the Wolverines have said nothing. Minnesota's controlled the puck for too long that it almost felt inevitable they were going to get that first shot. A little surprised that happened this fast because they didn't look that strong offensively. But the Wolverines have played good defense, but they've had to play too much defense.
And it seems like, Zach, it kind of just came out of nowhere. Just as you said that neither team had really been building an attack so far in this game. But my goodness, the number 2 Minnesota Golden Gophers have a 1-0 lead here in Ann Arbor with 14:15 to go in the first period. Minnesota now turns it over. Wolverines have it. It was Jackson Halem going around, and he gets hit into the boards. Still fighting for it. Gophers had it briefly, and then Seamus Casey just fires it into the Minnesota bench. And now we got a little bit of fighting going on. Number 27 for Minnesota going at it with the Wolverine. That's Charlie Strobel. looked like it might have been Marcus Stoppa on the opposing end of that. We'll see what the officials do here. We have two referees, two linesmen, of course. Joseph Caruson and Brett Sheva, the two referees, the two linesmen, Bill Hancock and Jake Davis tonight.
If you figure this 2 versus 3 matchup 6 minutes into the first game of a 2-game set, this probably won't be the last time we see chippiness. But again, I think it feels like every time the Wolverines have the puck, it's a one-man attack, and there's no support. And then the Gophers are able to just kind of triple up on the guy, and there's no way he's ever going to survive with the puck.
Wolverines not able to hold on to the face-off there. Luke Hughes now around his own goal. Goes forward for Duke. He gets a boot on it, and then a little dangerous pass for Minnesota. Almost connected on it. Gophers will reset the Lacombe now. Up forward, Snuggerud gets hit by number 90 for the Wolverines. That's Jay Kiernan getting a start tonight. Lacombe now dribbling it up. Goes out to Cooley. Cooley pressured by Granovich and loses it. Coaster backing up, goes back to Nyes. Some solid passing here. Nyes again now on the right wing. Looking for a pass. He finds Snuggerud. Great passing right now for Minnesota. Coaster now out wide. The shot on goal. Portillo gets the stick up and saves.
Good save there, as Minnesota did have a threat going. Got a quality look. Just nice save by Portillo.
Wolverines get a line change. And then turn it over right in front of the goal. Back out Thomas now. Screener, no. Saved by Portillo. Tough start here early. Minnesota seems to just be constantly in Michigan's half of the rink, right? I mean.
And it's really just a time of possession difference. And you look at that first goal, you know, Rhett Pitlick got the goal. The assists were Luke Middlestedt and then Jackson Lacombe, but they were able to have get a couple passes, get the look, get the shot. Wolverines don't even have a shot because it seems no one's ever available to get a pass that sets up a good goal. It's always one man on it by himself.
Just crazy to think that 8 minutes into this game, the Wolverines do not have a shot. Once again, we knew it would be an uphill battle. Here is Stoppa now, takes his first shot of the game just over the Gophers goalie. And so now just fires it forward. No icings, they weren't in their own zone. Michigan will bring it up, Samoskevich. Racing forward, showing that great speed now. Deflected just in front of the goal. No shot on it again for the Wolverines. Samoskevich turns it over, and Ethan Edwards is back to cover for Michigan. As Edwards goes back around to Seamus Casey. Casey was looking for Duke, unable to connect. It ends up in Brindley's stick, though. Minnesota, for the meantime, gets the possession back. After a couple of passes, we go forward, and Ethan Edwards once again gets a stick on it. Just going back and forth here in Ann Arbor. It's Brindley now racing forward for the Wolverines.
And there again, another turnover, never even able to get a single pass off before losing it. And it feels like that's how most of the Wolverines' possessions are going tonight.
Yeah, it's hard to a certain extent to even call out these names because we're just going back and forth. The Wolverines can't possess. Maybe Luke Hughes now will change that as he brings it up all the way through, rings it around, looking for a teammate. But Minnesota once again regains possession. Here it's Coaster now. Looks forward, deep shot. Portillo got a glove to deflect, unable to handle it though. The shot on goal saved. Hughes now goes back out to McGroarty. He goes to the middle to Ciccolini, unable to handle. Portillo to Hughes. Up for the Wolverines now, Granowitz. Racing for Granowitz, trying to find a shot, doesn't take it. Flips it around the Minnesota goal, finds a teammate. Screener on goal, shot, no, saved. We got a broken stick on the ice, too. Minnesota now, they're bringing it up. It's Snuggerud, the leading goal scorer for the Gophers. Shot on goal, saved by the Wolverines, and Portillo got a glove on it. It was Snuggerud who started the action for the Gophers there, and then Logan Cooley was trying to get the deflection, and a little bit of a putback chance there for Minnesota. But 1-0 again is the score here in favor of Minnesota with 9:45 to go in this first period.
Yeah, definitely the shot attempt by Luke Fantilli. That was definitely the best opportunity the Wolverines have had at this point. That really was a quality look. And I think their first, I mean, Marcus Tapa had the shot earlier. It wasn't a great shot. It's their only 2 shots on goal. Now, you figure over time, if they can get good looks, they're going to score eventually. So maybe slight upward signs, positive signs looking at their offense, but I think they need to actually be able to repeat this until they get the goal, because that's what Minnesota's done. Haven't had a ton of great looks, but they've gotten 10 shots. One of them, which was a play Portillo probably should have been able to save, he didn't. Gophers get the lead there.
And Zach, let me ask you this, because this Michigan team has been quite clear that they want to run out in space. It's a much speedier team than they had last season. In a game like this against a Minnesota team that doesn't possess it, as well as some other teams Michigan will face, is that advantageous for this Wolverines team where Minnesota can kind of just sprint right back in a counterattack?
Yeah, I mean, what they've been doing so far hasn't worked clearly. I think Wolverines kind of need to spread their team out more than they have, just to give options to move the puck around. Because what we've seen is we've seen them move the puck, but not really move their team with the puck, and that's created a lot of really easy steals for the Gophers defense.
Yeah, it's definitely seemed that way, and it certainly worked out so far for Minnesota. 1-0 lead again. Michigan gets it back after the faceoff. Ethan Edwards has it. Right behind Portillo. He'll skate up to the left, then finds Casey onto the right. Casey looking around. Will skate it forward. Seamus Casey now, oh my, on his own, gets the shot on goal. Saved by Bartoszewicz. Casey dumps it off to Edwards. Forward to Samskovic, looking for the shot. He'll take one over the goal and into the netting. That's the Wolverines' second shot of this game, Zach. How do you continue to generate more of that?
Well, right here, it looks like a penalty is going to be called against the Gophers. So Wolverines are going to get the power play, and hopefully that's the spark that they need. Interference call there.
Yeah, it looks like it is interference. They call it on number 20 for Minnesota, Luke Middlestad.
So I think this will be really telling right here. They should absolutely be able to possess this puck being up a man. So I think not obviously scoring here would be very helpful, but more importantly is just how does the team look? Do they look like they're able to keep possession and build attack, or is Minnesota clearing the puck every 20 seconds?
Yeah, this is a Michigan team that's converted on 1/3 of their power plays. They'll certainly look to do so here. Wolverines lose the faceoff, but Portillo has it. He'll dump it off to Hughes. Hughes will get the power play set going. Hughes now out wide to his right to Seamus Casey. Back to Hughes. He gets hit. Minnesota fires it away. Samskovic now gets the rebound. Back out to Hughes. Casey at the point. Out wide to Samskovic. Fires a shot and saved by Bartoszewicz with the glove.
So at least they're usually a decent chance at scoring. They still have a minute and a half on the power play. So I think it's okay so far. I really think, though, with how this offense looks, they got to take advantage here. They got to score. And then, obviously, you want to see them keep looking strong after the power play. But I think scoring on the power play will be critical, given how their offense has looked in a 5-against-5.
Gophers now win the faceoff and just skate it up. Still have it for Minnesota. The shot on goal on Portillo saved.
And this is what the Wolverines cannot have, playing defense when they are up a man. Gophers easily could have scored a shorthanded goal right there.
Brindley now brings it forward. Finds Ethan Edwards. He gets a shot into Bartoszewicz and right into his chest. It'll be another face-off, and just as you said, cannot be having Minnesota, skating it up in a power play. The Golden Gophers have just one shorthanded goal on the season. So Michigan, a minute into this power play, they still have a minute left. What do they need to do in this next minute to try to get one on the board here?
I think possess the puck and pass the puck. I just don't think they've been passing it around enough. I think it's kind of a one-man show. I'm going to go try to score, and if there's 2 or 3 guys around whoever has the puck, it seems they don't have a chance.
That's certainly what it seemed like here. And Minnesota, again, just able to clear it away. Portillo goes forward to Hughes near the block end.
The Gophers are playing this very aggressively for being down a man, but I think with how the Wolverines' offense has looked so far, it's working very successfully for Minnesota.
Samoskevich now bringing it up on his own. Fires a shot. Oh, just off to the left far post. McGroarty back to Hughes. Michigan will try to set something up here. Casey. Forward to Duke. And Michigan just turns it over. My goodness. Cooley now racing forward for Minnesota. Dumps it off to Snuggerud. Shot saved by Portillo. Great save by Portillo. And Minnesota now, that is the end of the power play. They will be back even on here.
Yeah, that is exactly what could not happen for the Wolverines there. Gophers had probably the best 2 shots during Michigan's power play. That simply can't happen. And now the puck again in Michigan's defensive zone.
Samoskevich brings it forward, flips it just past the blue line. Wolverines Draper are fighting for it. The rebound, no, saved. A little bit of danger for the meantime for Minnesota. They get rid of it though. Now it's Pitlick who had the first goal for the Gophers. He fires it forward, gets it back. Portillo gets just in front of the goal and saves it up into the netting with 6:26 to go in this first period. Again, 1-0 is the score in favor of the number 2 visiting Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Yeah, and I think, Wolverines have 5 shots. Minnesota's goalie, Owen Crain, has played pretty well so far. But I think the Wolverines, really, I think it's more quantity than anything else. We saw them have a couple good looks there, but they just need more of them. And I just don't think they've had enough to really pose much of a threat.
Druskin wins the face-off. Michigan now will bring it up with Druskins. Big hit by Jackson Halem. Goes back to Michigan. Gophers passing around. Johnson forward to Strobel. He goes down. Michigan gets it back with Fantilli. Luca Fantilli, that is. Marcus Stappa flicks it up and forward. Nothing doing once again for the Wolverines, and Minnesota will just reset right here behind their own goal. It's number 14, Brock Faber with it. The captain for the Gophers. Brings it forward. Big hit by Luke Hughes, and Michigan gets back with Ciccolini. Ciccolini looking around, but once again, Zach, as you said, as he takes the shot up into the netting, deflected. With 5:26 left in this first period, it doesn't seem like Michigan really has many guys racing forward. It's just a one-man show skating it up.
It feels like every time Wolverines cross the blue line on the Gopher side, one of 2 things is going to happen. It's either going to be a weak shot attempt or the puck's just outright going to get stolen by Minnesota. Neither of those are going to lead to any scoring. But when you're being outshot 13-5, it's tough not to trail in a game.
It'll be Duke and number 24, Jackson Nelson, as Nelson wins the faceoff for the Gophers. Luke Hughes eventually ends up with it behind Portillo. Looking forward to McGroarty. A little bit of a stalemate on the boards here. Eventually Luke Hughes ends up with it. Goes forward to Kiernan, to Samoskevich now. McGroarty ends up with the puck right by Minnesota's goal. He goes back to Edwards. Edwards finds Casey on his right.
Again, with that pass, they shouldn't have to clear out of the Minnesota zone, yet it seems the offense is just too disjointed.
McGroarty with the shot over the goal and into the netting once again. it seems like this offense is so discombobulated. Again, you know, it's going to be we're going to sound like a broken record on this broadcast. Wolverines without a bunch of big-time contributors. Their leading goal scorer, Adam Fantilli, is out. TJ Hughes is out. Jacob Truscott also out, as well as Nolan Moyle and Steve Holtz.
But Ethan Edwards on that pass there cannot be in the neutral zone there, because it's a nice pass, but it kills any attack because the Wolverines then have to completely reset.
Michigan's Jackson Halem will try to get something going for this Wolverine team. Edwards now was looking forward to Estapa off the board. Estapa's still fighting for it. And eventually Minnesota ends up with it. We got a call by the referee, though. Frankly, I didn't see what it was. 4:22 to go in the first period.
Going to be another penalty against Minnesota. Against Middlestead again.
Yeah, it's the second penalty of the day.
Not get what exactly the call was, but Wolverines are going to be.
Well, they say a 2-minute minor for holding. Yep. So Michigan will have a power play opportunity here.
Yeah, and I think their offense needs to look. They maybe had about 2 chances on that last power play. I think the Gophers had 2 chances as well. So incredibly unbalanced for being up a man. Or should I say too balanced.
Hughes. Back out. Seamus Casey. Goes forward to McGroarty. He fires a shot, saved by Bartoskevich. Back out to Portillo.
It's not a terrible look there, but I think the Gophers were too easily able to crowd the net because they don't have to cover the entire ice with how the Wolverines' offense is played.
Casey to Hughes, who tried to find a teammate in the middle. Unable to, though. Back to Seamus Casey at the 100-year anniversary logo for Michigan. McGroarty. Hughes with the shot deflected up into the board, not into the netting, still live here. Michigan got another shot on it, again saved by Bartoskevich. Hughes. Out wide to his right to Casey. Looks for the pass into the goal! Oh my goodness, what great bit of passing by the Wolverines. Nolan Moyle, or excuse me, Dylan Duke is the one who ended up with the goal at the end there. A couple of great passes just across the rink by the Wolverines. And Dylan Duke was just waiting wide open at that goal. 1-1 is the score here.
And that's what complementary offense looks like right there. You use the entire ice, and then you end up right there, as you say, getting Dylan Duke. No chance there for Bartoskevich to block him because you're coming across the goal on the pass, and that's how you play offense. Take advantage of the power play. All of a sudden, it's a new game here at 1-1.
Ethan Edwards gets hit by Nyes. Minnesota now looking for a goal. You can surely bet the number 2 team in the country will be trying to get back in the lead here. 1-1. Brindley has it. Eventually Minnesota gets it back though. Gophers now. Cooley forward to Nyes. Tries to go around to Seamus Casey, unable to. Michigan gets it back. Halem now. Edwards around his own goal. He'll go back to Casey. Forward to Ciccolini. Gets by 1. Wolverines might have an advantage here. Do they do anything with it? Edwards, a shot on goal, deflected out. Pearson now. Skating around Portillo. He'll try to get something going with just over 2 minutes left in this first period. Pearson goes forward. Bartoskevich gets it. And the Wolverine and Gopher, as they're fighting for the puck, run straight into the referee. Eventually, it ends up in Michigan's hands. Luca Fantilli has it. Fantilli flicks it forward to Draper, getting his first bit of playing time really this year. Brock Faber Steals it for the Gophers and will try to bring it up. Faber still with it now on the left wing. Stolen by Samoskevich. Mackie Samoskevich now racing up the right. Looks for the shot across the goal, saved by Bartoskevich. Hughes. Ooh, what a great bit of movement by Luke Hughes. Had his defender lost, fired the shot, just saved to the right though.
I think that's what we need to see from this Wolverines offense. They had the good look from Samoskevich, got the look from Hughes, didn't end up scoring, but they gave themselves chances.
Samoskevich looks forward for the Wolverines. Eventually stolen by the Gophers though. Minnesota Mount passing it around. It's Lacombe bringing it up. Up the right wing, Lacombe, the lefty, rings it in right in front of the goal. Portillo maybe got a stick on it. Somebody did for Michigan. Nothing doing for Minnesota. Now they're fighting for it in the neutral zone. Johnson gets hit by Rutger McGroarty, still trying to have it. Brindley skates over, gets a steal, eventually turns it over, and we'll get a line change for the Wolverine. Johnson now weaving in and out here. Eventually Nevers ends up with it, but Michigan gets a steal with Seamus Casey. Out wide, and that's the end of the first period though. 1-1 is the score here in Ann Arbor between number 2 Minnesota and number 3 the Michigan Wolverines. 13 shots for Minnesota, 8 for Michigan. It seemed like early on the Wolverines were completely discombobulated, Zach, but they've kind of figured it out, maybe. From the last 5 minutes there, did this look like a different team?
Yeah, definitely. They looked far from perfect, and I think Brandon Dorado really does have a lot he needs to clean up with his team as they go into the locker room here in this first intermission. But definitely looking a better team. Obviously, great setup for that Dylan Duke goal with the power play. Assist coming from Rutger McGroarty, Seamus Casey. But then even after that, it looked like they had that one last possession where Samoskevich, Hughes both got the shots. They had good looks there. Obviously, to score, that's what you want to see more of, because I think that's a better way to assess the team than just based on how many goals are scored. I think just shots alone isn't a very good metric either because of the quality of the shots. I felt like early on they were almost rushing shots that weren't good because it was the only way to get a shot off on that possession was to shoot it immediately. So they've definitely had better possessions. I think we need to see more consistency from them in getting more repetitions, being able to maintain control of the puck after shots get blocked. And so I think it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the second period, because I do think Michigan looked better at the end of the period. I still think on the whole, Minnesota looked like the better team in the first period, but the game is tied, and the Wolverines really aren't in that bad of a spot.
Most definitely, and I mean, just as you said, it almost seems like maybe they want a little bit of last year, a little bit more passing, more methodical approach offensively rather than just trying to be the speedy team that they usually have been so far this year, especially when you consider that, just as we said, this is a Wolverines team without 5 big contributors, and so, you know, they certainly look like it to a certain extent today. Any last thoughts here on this first period, though, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, as you commented, just with all the injuries and missing players, definitely tough because this Minnesota team is 4-2 in Big Ten play. Wolverines are 2-2, but this is the team. Now, Big Ten has 6 teams ranked in the top 20. Wisconsin's the only team that's not ranked, so this is a real cutthroat conference. We saw Wolverines starting with back-to-back road trips split at both Penn State and Notre Dame. But I think Michigan and Minnesota, obviously being at 3-2 respectively, still are the class of the Big Ten. So big test here. It's obviously difficult when you're playing maybe the best team in your conference and you're shorthanded. But I think they got to find a way to at least get a split. Obviously, a sweep at home would be ideal. They've looked rusty so far, looked better at the end of the period. Obviously, they have time to change things. The game is tied. And so I think it really comes down to, can they develop a more well-rounded offensive attack, use the entire ice, and use the entire team?
And we'll see the answer to those questions in the coming few minutes and hours. So as we have 9 minutes left to go before we see the second period get underway. Zach, thank you so much for joining us in this first period. You'll be back on the call in the third period with Owen, as well as Owen Crain on for the second period with me. We'll be back in about 7 minutes just to get you started for the second period.
Michigan hockey on WCBN. We'll leave you with the sounds of the Michigan Hockey Band and the PA system until the start of the second period in about 7 minutes. Thanks for listening. We'll be back in a few. From Yost Arena in Ann Arbor, Michigan, this is WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan men's hockey. Today, it's the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. Period in. We're tied at 1. I'm Owen Crain. Neal, you're on the call the first period. Basketball in the mind. How are things going? Give me the recap.
Well, it's been a very weird game. This is a Michigan team that's without quite a few players today due to some illnesses, and they've been fighting a virus apparently within the team. But the game itself, it's been really interesting. It seems like neither team has really been able to possess the puck. The Wolverines had no shots after around 8-9 minutes in that first period. Eventually turned it over, and they turned it around, and then they had a power play opportunity to eventually tie the game.
1-1, puck set to be dropped in just a moment. We're back underway here. The start of the second period, a practically sold-out crowd tonight to cheer on the Maize and Blue. Minnesota with possession first. They'll move it up on the near side, dump it down low. Wolverines chasing after it. It's Luke Hughes who recovers it. Puck's on the near side. Wolverines on the breakout. Sam Miskevich with it in the neutral zone. He'll try to dump it in. Bumps off a Gopher. Brindley picks it up. He's behind the net now to the far side. He has Hughes at the point. Instead, he'll circle back. Shot in front. That one off Sam Miskevich's stick. Trickles into the corner. They'll move it back behind the net. Hard hit on Dylan Duke on the far side corner. He's down. Looks like his head hit the wall. He'll slowly get back up as Minnesota brings the puck down into Michigan zone. Dumps it back behind the net. Portillo stops the puck, moves it around. We'll have a whistle on the play.
My goodness, Dylan Duke, they're going to be checking for a concussion or something because he is really wincing in pain right now, and I think McGroarty went after Cooley there because he wasn't very happy about that hit.
Thoughts with Dylan Duke, his head still down. Last thing, not to take the person out of this, but as a team, the last thing this Michigan program needs right now is to be down another key player.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're without Adam Fantilli, their lead goal scorer on this season. They're without TJ Hughes, also second on the team in scoring goals. And so, they're without some big impact players. And then on top of all of that, they have to play the number 2 team in the country. It really does not get, too much more difficult in all honesty. And so we'll see what the refs are doing right now because they're talking to Minnesota's bench right now.
And no call on the ice at the time of the hit. This could be a discussion about the tussle that followed. It doesn't surprise me that there's no call from the refs. We haven't gotten a replay of the hit, but Duke's head certainly went into the boards. He's taken his helmet off. He's sitting on the bench, head's back up, drinking some water. Refs will signal for the face-off. We never got that replay on the video board. So 1-1, second period, 19-13 remaining. Children of Yost pumped up. They want that puck dropped. Marcus Stappa taking the faceoff for the Wolverines. Golden Gophers win it. Shot from the far side point. That one ricochets into the corner. Stappa drops it back. Wolverines have control now. It's Edwards with it. Looks to move it up ice. Pass intercepted by 22 from Minnesota. Golden Gophers moving it around the near side boards in Michigan's territory. Turnover. It's McGroarty with it in the neutral zone now. He's at the blue line. Looks to dump it in. That one won't make it all the way. Picked up by a Gopher defender. Nevers with it at the neutral zone. Quick turnover back to Jackson Hallam. Hallam moves in. Far side pass. Granowitz almost had something there. Puck chipped away on the far side. He's fighting for it on the far side boards. Gets it to Pearson at the point. Can't really control the puck. Pearson dumps the puck back in. Ricochets around the boards to the near side. Luke Fantilli takes a shot. That one deflected by a Gopher who dumps it into Michigan's zone. They'll get a line change. The Gophers, that is. Wolverines start the breakout. Granowitz with it on the near side. He has Ciccolini low. If he can control the puck, it's knocked away. Gophers dump it back out. Fantilli in the neutral zone. Moves it back into the Gophers zone. It's back to Fantilli real quick. He'll take it in, move it on the near side. Pass down.
Just seems like this Michigan team just cannot hold on to the puck in the offensive zone here at all tonight. All their passes have been intercepted.
Again, playing without some of their key players, they lose those cohesive lines and the ability to work as a unit that you see. And personally, I think that they're doing a good job given how many they're missing tonight. They have really dug deep into the bench for this one there. I'm sure you mentioned it earlier. Third string goalie is dressing as a left winger tonight. He's wearing number 91. That's Tyler Shea. So the Wolverines pulling out all the strings, tied 1-1 with Minnesota, about 17:20 remaining in the second. Michigan controlling the puck in their own end. Luke Hughes has it. He'll skate up through the center of the neutral zone, move it to Samoskevich. Tries to get it to LaPointe on the far side, or near side rather, excuse me. Can't do so. Puck will trickle back into Michigan's zone. Jeez. Michigan with it. It's Samoskevich through the neutral zone. He loses control of the puck. Like you said, Neal, Michigan struggling to hold on. Minnesota picks it back up in the neutral zone. They look to move into Michigan's territory on the near side. There's a dump and chase. Portillo stops it back behind the net. Puck on the near side. It's back out. It's Lacombe with it, who dumps it back in for Minnesota. Gophers move it back down. It's behind the red line. Michigan gets a stick on it. LaPointe moves it back to Hughes on the far side corner. He tries to get it to Samoskevich in the neutral zone. Can't do so. Gophers pick it back up on the near side. Here's Cooley skating in. Opportunity in front. Puck knocked away. Far side control. They'll try to cut back in, get a shot off. Pad save by Portillo. Another shot. That one, the far side, trickles back to the boards behind the net. Michigan picks the puck up, tries to ice it out of the zone. It's stopped by Faber on the near side. One more shot opportunity for Minnesota. That one scooped up by Portillo. We'll have our first stop of play in some time.
Well, is it a Minnesota power play, or is it just me? Because, I mean, it seems like, obviously in this case it wasn't a Minnesota power play, but my goodness, the Gophers there for the last 2-3 minutes-ish around there had the puck non-stop in the offensive zone, and Michigan just could not get it out of their own half, and even when they did, they couldn't hold on to the puck, and it's just been a recurring theme tonight. Again, just as you said, there's no surprise with all the players they have out.
They're getting outshot, but Michigan holding its own on the board. We'll see if that can stand. Face off on the far side circle in Michigan's zone. The Wolverines will win it back, move the puck to the near side. McGroarty to Estapa in the neutral zone. Quick turnover to Minnesota. They turn it right back over to Michigan. Here's Casey. Seamus Casey has some options. He'll opt to shoot from about the center of Minnesota's zone. That one back to the glass. Few collisions at mid-ice. Puck in the neutral zone. Estapa tries to get it back to McGroarty. Gets away from him. It's in Minnesota's zone, back behind the net. It's going to trickle out to the point. Edwards on his backhand picks it up. He's hooked a little, loses control of the puck, but dumps it back down low. Estapa behind the net now with the puck after it ricocheted around. He'll take it to the far side, moves it back to the point. It's Casey again, looks to cut in and evade the defender. He's got to stop in front. That one's going to trickle through. Puck still in play on the near side boards. It's going to trickle out to the neutral zone. At about center ice now, fighting for control. Faber picks it up for Minnesota on the near side. He'll dump it in. That one moves back behind the net. Portillo couldn't quite get his stick on it to stop it. It's a tussle for it. Michigan comes away with it on the far side. Cross ice pass up to Granowicz. Draper controlling the puck as they enter Minnesota territory. He takes a shot. It's deflected. Minnesota controls. And then a tussle for it on the far side board. Granowicz recovers. He's got a man in front. That was LaPointe. Tried to get it on his backhand. Draper had the rebound. Nothing came of either shot. Puck back on the far side. Minnesota opportunity again. That's going to be a trip called on the Wolverines. I didn't catch the number there. If you,
I wasn't sure either.
Tripping call, absolutely unintentional. Looks like it's going to be Philip LaPointe heading into the box.
Unfortunate, because for the last around minute and a half for Michigan, it seemed like the offense had kind of got it going a little bit. They were, connecting on some passes. They had that great pass right in front of the goal from Seamus Casey, and McGroarty just unable to get a stick on it. Looks like Michigan, did he say, is challenging?
It seems that Minnesota is challenging that this should be a major penalty. And Neal, wow. I don't know where this is coming from.
You do not see that happen too much, especially on a tripping call. We'll see.
This is very interesting. I can't be certain what they're looking at. We can kind of get the slightest view of the screen that the referees will use to review the call.
Yeah, and of course this would be huge for the Gophers seems like they've had an advantage this whole game. And, of course, with the score being tied, Michigan's got to be pretty happy with that. But perhaps some momentum shifting.
Gophers will have at least 2 minutes. And it seems that they're looking at the trip. Oh, excuse me. No, they are not.
Yeah, they're not, no.
They're looking at a collision that we saw earlier in the game. Perhaps that could be called a charge. Far, far away. Can't tell which player it is. And this is interesting. They're challenging for a penalty that wasn't initially called, and they want a major. Here's the referee. Minnesota loses its timeout. No major penalty on the play called. We will remain 5-on-4 for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, Michigan's got to be very, very happy about that, of course. You know, just keep it as a minor penalty, a 2-minute power play here for the Gophers. Michigan will be doing everything that they can to not allow a second goal. We'll see if they can first win a faceoff. Faceoffs have been an issue today for the Wolverines.
They won't. Minnesota wins it in Michigan's zone. They'll get a quick shot off that one. Misses on the near side, bounces back. The defender, Lacombe, has it now. He'll move it D to D to the far side. Take their time with it. Michigan in diamond formation tonight on the penalty. Minnesota still has it on the far side. Move it back to D. Quick tip in front. Looks like Portillo didn't have the greatest sense of where that one was. It's going to deflect up into the netting. We'll have a quick whistle.
Well, and I like the little diamond zone by the Wolverines right there. They keep it compressed, and they're sprinting out to guard, you know, possible long slap shots and so on. But in the middle, at least, they're keeping it compressed, kind of giving a few guys in front of Portillo to help guard that net.
Michigan has always found success on its special teams. Last year, notably fantastic on the power play. Puck's back in play. Fighting for it are both Wolverines and Gophers. Michigan will rip one around the boards. It ends up on the near side. The defender grabs it. Still fighting for it at about the blue line. It's officially in Minnesota control now. They'll keep it on the near side. Bring it down low. Errant pass is going to send it back out through the neutral zone all the way back down to Minnesota's territory. 1:10 remaining in the penalty kill for the Wolverines. 13:44 on the clock in the second. Minnesota regroups through the neutral zone on the near side. It's Snuggerud. Dumps it back down. Michigan once more recovers the puck back behind the net. Quick pass. It's Ciccolini. Essentially a breakaway wrist shot. That one glove save, and he's checked hard. Looked like he went head first into the boards. He's on the ground. Eric Ciccolini, after a one-on-one where he had the edge.
Oh, my goodness. And Cooley will for sure be headed to the box here. Oh, my. Yeah, that is a very dirty hit.
Cooley deservedly receiving boos from around the stadium. Looks like the referees will review the play.
I mean, just awful. It had already gone into Bardaskevich, excuse me. He had already controlled it, and Cooley just shoves Ciccolini way, way after the play as he was already going down in the back.
Bardaskevich, a good save for him there, of course. Can't take that away. It'll be.
It was interesting, too, because I kind of thought that the pass should have been found earlier to Ciccolini, because right as he had just passed their own blue line for the Wolverines, he was streaking wide open across the middle. And then they waited a little bit and then found him more on the right wing, but
so Ciccolini will leave the ice surface. In the meantime, Cooley thrown out of the box. He'll leave the ice surface. He's out for the rest of the game. What that means for tomorrow's match, I'm unsure. We'll get back to you on that one. Michigan will play 4-on-4 for the next 50 seconds and then have a 5-on-4 man advantage for the 4 minutes and 10 seconds afterwards.
That is huge. I think it's the right call by the officials. As Ciccolini, once again, the shot had already been saved. He was kind of already going down anyways as he walked off the ice. But huge for the Wolverines. You just have 50 seconds left of a 4v4 now. And then you get a 4-minute power play. That is humongous for this team, this Wolverines team that already scored on a power play in this game.
Big opportunity, but again, if you're Coach Naurato, I'm not sure if you'd rather this power play than losing Ciccolini, at least for now. We'll see if he's able to return. As of right now, he's off the ice. Minnesota will be down a man for the rest of the game, of course, on the bench. Down a man on the ice for the next 5 minutes. 13:25 remaining in the second period. Minnesota with 18 shots to Michigan's 11.
And perhaps we see a little bit of Tyler Shea. Just as you were saying earlier, the third-string goalie is set to play left wing tonight. He was listed as the fourth stringer. But with Ciccolini out on the right wing, I mean, you know, and just as we said earlier, this Michigan team has been dealing with so many injuries and illnesses that now with Ciccolini out, it's going to be very difficult.
So Cooley returns to the ice. He's back in the box, hence the boos. So I'm not sure what's going on with him. He had gotten off. He's back now. We're back underway with play. Minnesota controlling the puck in its own zone. Pitluck has it. He'll hand it off. Middlestott takes it into Michigan zone. He'll get a shot off on Portillo. That's his left side blocker. Ricochets back into the corner. Minnesota tries to get something going here. They're still under pressure. Again, it's 4-on-4 play. The Wolverines, a fast team, normally perform well in situations like this. 17 seconds remaining in 4-on-4. Till LaPointe exits the penalty box. Here's a quick run by Minnesota. Pass in front. They'll knock one in.
Wow. Wow, Portillo completely jumped to his left. Left the net wide open as Pitluck, I believe, has his second goal of this game for the Golden Gophers.
Pitluck, I think the one who knocked that one in. Yes, he was. There's no coverage after I was praising the 4-on-4 play. No man-on-man coverage from the Wolverines defense there.
And Portillo, to a certain extent, caught sleeping. I mean, these are two goals that he really is not going to be happy about, because that one, it was clearly a pass across the net. He didn't have to cover it all the way to his left there.
It's certainly a tough call there. Or not tough call, excuse me. Tough play for Portillo. Wolverines as a whole. 2-1 the score. Michigan back to full strength now. They'll be on the power play for the next 4 minutes. Here's Hallam entering Minnesota territory on the near side, looking to start something up for the Wolverines. Brindley with the puck. Back behind the net, bounced off the boards. Back to LaPointe. Fantilli with it at D. Back to Brindley on the far side on the point. He has Edwards as a resource. He'll use him. Edwards to Fantilli on the near side. Back to Edwards. We'll move around for some time. Brindley on the near side, low. They'll move it back up to Fantilli at the point. Edwards low, trying to get something started. Brindley, cross-ice pass. Quick shot off. That one, good save. Made by Bartoszewicz.
Great coverage by Bartoszewicz. Gets the shoulder, completely blocks off the near post as Brindley really wasn't going to be able to fire it across the goal. Great bit of defense by the Gophers. But Michigan, I mean, solid opportunity. They haven't really had too many of those so far today. Their 12th shot of the game in comparison to Minnesota's 21. They're going to have to keep churning out these chances with 3:22 left on the power play.
3:22 left, like you said, 11:47 remaining in the second. Quick stoppage here. The referee, linesman, had to get back to his position. We're back to play. Michigan wins the draw. It's Casey taking it, protecting the puck on the near side as he cuts in. He'll lose it to a Minnesota Gopher. They'll ice the puck back down. Portillo there to receive it back behind the net. Michigan starts things back up with Hughes. Hughes to Duke to McGroarty. A few quick passes moving around at Samoskevich coming out of Michigan zone now. Looks to his far side. We'll have a quick offsides call. Looks like Samoskevich went off after passing the puck off.
Yeah, and, you know, I mean, right off of the face-off there, Seamus Casey controlled the puck briefly, but he kind of tried to bring it up all the way on his own into the offensive zone and just lost it. And Minnesota was unable to connect on a pass as they just iced it. But not what you want to see in a power play. You want a lot more of controlled, small passing to go on here.
Michigan wins the draw. Edwards brings it back, and the team resets. 2:43 remaining in their power play here. Michigan dumps it in. Edwards gets a stick on the Minnesota ice. It's still in Minnesota's zone. Michigan starts to set it up. Brindley on the near side, cutting in low. He'll circle back to Fantilli at the point, who has the puck. Back to Brindley near side. One-timer. Good save for Minnesota. Puck trickles back into the near side corner. Goes out to Minnesota, who gets a stick on it. They'll start to move down. Quick shot. That one misses the net by a few. Hallam picks it up for Michigan. Brings it through the neutral zone over the 100-year logo. Pass off made to Brindley. Minnesota recovers back behind the net. Dumps it back down to Portillo, who picks it up. Luke Hughes there for Michigan.
Let's see if Michigan gets more of a set here on the offensive zone.
Under 2 minutes remaining in the power play. They haven't set anything up very well yet. We've seen a few shots here and there, but each time Minnesota recaptures the puck like they just did now, they'll dump it in. The Golden Gophers wasting as much time as possible, and they'll get a line change here. Under 10 minutes remaining in the second. Minute 35 left on the power play for the Wolverines. They're diddling with it in their own zone under pressure. Dylan Duke breaks it out into the neutral zone. They'll drive down. Samoskevich with it at the point. Moves it over to Hughes. He has McGroarty on the near side. Hughes opts to go cross ice to Casey. Just below the blue line. He'll skate down. Lower circle. Dylan Duke in front. Samoskevich. Opportunity. That one trickles out to the point. McGroarty with it now on the near side. He'll get a shot off. Recovers his puck after it's blocked. Samoskevich now back behind the net. He'll take it to the far side. Out to Hughes. Up top. Quick shot off. Nelson gets a skate on that one. It's deflected. Puck back in front. Dylan Duke picks it up. He puts it in! Michigan ties it at 2.
Wow, what a play by Dylan Duke. That's his second goal of the day. A little bit of a individual battle going on between Duke with 2 goals and Brett Pitlick, from Minnesota also with 2 goals. But Dylan Duke, how about that play? They fired in quite a few shots over and over, trying to just get one of them to go in or get the deflection. That's exactly what Dylan Duke did. The puck was just floating in the air, and Dylan Duke right on the near post, right side of the net, just was able to get a stick on it, and Bartoskevich unable to save it.
Yeah, it looked like some baseball to me there. So he picked that one up, dropped it right on in. Game's tied at 2, just like that. 45 seconds still on this power play. Remember, Cooley's in for a major. A goal doesn't change that fact, so we're still 5-on-4. Michigan up a man. Minnesota controlling now. They'll enter Michigan's territory. Far side, Michigan gets a stick on it, pokes it away. Hallam's chasing. So is Edwards. Thomas recovers it for Minnesota. Lacombe back to Thomas, down low. The defenders just throwing it around, trying to waste some time. We're down to about 15 seconds in the power play. Still Lacombe. He's under pressure from Brindley now. Here comes Draper for pressure. Minnesota moves it to the neutral zone. Little bit of puck protection, on the near side. They'll move it over. Finally dump it in. We're back to full strength for Minnesota. 8:22 remaining in the second. Minnesota still out shooting Michigan 3-2. 21 shots to the Wolverines 14, but we're tied on the board. 2-2, Neal. This is not what I was expecting coming into a game. Michigan down as many stars as they are.
Yeah, I mean, they have to be happy. Brandon Dorado has to be happy with this team being tied 2-2 to the number 2 team in the country. Forgive me for all the 2s that I just said, but I mean, they got to be happy right now with this performance, with the key contributors out, and it's been a tough battle. Minnesota's kind of had the upper hand throughout this game too.
And Minnesota, with the players that they have, Minnesota probably the better team. Michigan showing its grit, one of those hard-working teams. Just as I'm saying, this Minnesota puck out front of the net, they'll go high, gets right over Portillo. It's a 3-2 game.
Wow, I mean, the announcer's curse, maybe, I don't know what that was, but that is just very, very unfortunate timing right away. After Michigan gets their goal, Minnesota comes right back, and Snuggerud, the leading goal scorer for the Golden Gophers, gets a relatively easy one. I mean, that one not really as much on Portillo, I'd say, but just can't have that happen.
That's a tough one. That one definitely not on Portillo. He just went top shelf there, but the puck trickled out in front. Defenders weren't there in time. It did happen while I was saying Minnesota is the better team. They're going to find these gaps. It's up to Michigan to make it up. Still pleased. Still pleased with Michigan's performance. The play will be reviewed by the referees. They'll take the Big Ten Network feed and check it out in the scorer's box.
And that's just one of those just absolute killers in terms of momentum, where you tie this game up, you get a great goal, and then right away Minnesota comes all the way back and scores one of their own. So just when you thought you made up, that deficit, you're right back in the same thing. And we'll see what happens with this review. Luke Hughes, the captain for the Wolverines tonight, watching with Brock Faber, the captain for the Golden Gophers.
Referees moving the tape back and forth. Now, they've frozen it on the spot in particular that they're checking out. It's very hard to see what they're really checking for. Seems that the referees have their decision. They'll take that headset off. They'll put it back on.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking at kind of the right side before that goal, it looks like, and we'll see as they're getting ready to come back out here.
Not sure what they're looking for. I don't suspect they'll overturn it. We'll turn to the referees. No penalty. The goal stands, and Michigan loses its remaining timeout.
So once again, 3-2 the score here. If you're Michigan, you'd love to get this thing tied up heading into the third, obviously. 8 minutes to do so. I think, again, biggest thing today is this team loves to go out in space. They love to use their speed. I think without their contributors, it's going to be hard, obviously, but they got to try a lot of the more methodical, slow passing.
Wolverines win the puck drop. It's Kieran into Hughes. Hughes moves it up to Samaskevich, who dumps it in. It's deflected off a ref. Hughes picks it back up. Quick shot on net. That one just brushed to the side. Kieran controlling the puck at the point now. It got back up there. Hands it off to Dylan Duke. Takes a moment. Cross ice to Luke Hughes at the point. He'll escape pressure. Cuts in on the near side. Still under a lot of heavy pressure from Pitluck. He'll move it back to Kieran. Kieran has Hughes. Instead, he opts to dump it low. Dylan Duke fights for it. So does Brindley. It's stolen away by a Gopher. They'll start to move it back up ice. How about the blue line? Samaskevich, pokes the puck away. Michigan moves it back. Samaskevich back with the puck now on the near side. Wolverines got a line change. Samaskevich on his own for a moment. He dumps it low. Marcus Stoppa chasing. Minnesota picks it up. They'll start to move it around, cycle it back to the near side. They dump it higher up on the boards, chase after it. Marcus Stoppa recovers the puck. He has McGroarty. He tries to cut in, can't do so. Net moves a little. It's still on its stands, though. Puck back at the point. Quick shot in. That one just in between the legs of Bartoskevich for a whistle.
Great physical play by Lacombe there for Minnesota, as Estapa kind of had the lane, on the left wing to maybe eventually get a shot on goal. But Lacombe just came in, hit him with a little bit of a body check, just pushed him enough to the point where there was not any angle whatsoever for Estapa.
We'll have our TV timeout of the period here.
Great atmosphere here in Ann Arbor, though, in Yost Arena on a Thursday afternoon. Kind of,
Thursday afternoon. A lot of students will be heading home for Thanksgiving this weekend or early next week. How about you, Neal? When are you departing Ann Arbor?
Well, I'm from Ann Arbor, so depart as in go 15 minutes away, but probably Sunday. We'll see, because one nice thing about Thanksgiving break is that sometimes you have classes canceled on Monday or Tuesday as well. So
maybe head home Sunday. Just a 15-minute drive.
How about you, though?
Me, I'm flying back to Rhode Island Sunday. Sticking around for some football.
Yep.
Excited, last game of the season, and then heading out. Gonna skip what I do have on Monday and Tuesday. Half of them are canceled anyways, though.
Are you going to be back for the OSU game? I mean, it's not at home this year, of course, but
No, I'll be watching from my couch at home. Okay. Hopefully, as Michigan concludes an undefeated season.
This will be an unbelievable game. I mean, it seems like the matchup, not to say we haven't had great matchups in the Harbaugh day and Harbaugh-Meyer tenures, but to get 2 undefeated teams likely, we'll see what happens this weekend. It can be very exciting for sure.
You can catch the game here, WCBN Sports and WCBNsports.org. 6:48 remaining in the second period. Michigan down 1 to Minnesota. 3-2 the score. We coming back from our TV timeout. Minnesota with 23 shots to the Wolverines 15. Puck in the neutral zone. Minnesota controlling. They'll dump it in. Casey chasing for Michigan. They'll move it back up the boards. A little bit of a blind pass there. Picked up by Minnesota. Turned right back over to McGroarty of Michigan. He'll race through the neutral zone to the far side of Minnesota's territory. Quick drop off to a stop. Excuse me, not a stop, but a stop is in front of the net. He almost had an opportunity there. Hallam chasing the puck for Michigan. He'll look to keep it in on the near side. He does, dumps it back behind the net. Minnesota picks it back up on the near side. They'll move it around. How about the far side of the neutral zone? They're controlling. They'll dump the puck in very lightly. Would have been an icing otherwise. Michigan picks it back up, moves it down. Draper tips the ice in. That one's on net. And it's, excuse me, this pronunciation's been killing me all day. Bartoskevich scoops it up.
It certainly killed me too, because you got Samoskevich for the Wolverines,
Yeah.
then you got Bartoskevich. It's tough to say very quickly as well, but no, I mean, Michigan, you got 5:53 to go. Down a goal here in the second period. We'll certainly be looking to tie this game. If not, honestly, if they're only down 1 heading into the third, I think Narado would take that. So maybe more it's about holding on to this just 1 goal deficit.
1 goal down, like you said. This is not something the Wolverines should be ashamed of. It is the 2 and 3 teams in the country battling it out respectively, but again, Michigan down some key players, including Adam Fantilli. They have 1 player in the hospital right now as they fight illness. Our thoughts are with them at the moment. Wolverines bringing the grit to the ice. Minnesota controlling right now in the neutral zone. Kiernan defending. Knock the puck away. Wolverines grab a hold of it, but turn it back over. Slap shot from the near side point. Here's another one. Now, both of those blocked. First one by Portillo, second one by a Wolverine defender. Michigan tries to bring the puck into the zone. It's offsides called on Luke Hughes. He'll touch it. Of our whistle, 5:02 remaining in the second.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, it seemed like Minnesota has just been able to possess the puck a lot better, and perhaps that's maybe because of all the players that Michigan has out. Just, it's kind of tough, honestly, as a team in any sport you look at. When you lose a lot of your main guys, it's just tough to keep that chemistry going. And we'll see if that changes for the Wolverines.
Play back underway. Minnesota controlling the Michigan zone. They move the faceoff down. Call was that Luke Hughes had seen it. That's going to be a trip as Brindley was carrying the puck. Michigan will go on the power play.
Just exactly what the Wolverines needed and wanted right there. They'll have a power play chance to try to tie this game up. 4:44 to go.
Check the quick replay. Brindley recovered a deflected shot from the point, and as he started to get going, he's got a little tripped up by a gopher. That was Connor Kurth with the trip. So Michigan down a goal, up a man for the next 2 minutes with 4:44 remaining in the second period. Wolverines win the faceoff, move it back to Hughes on the near side point. He'll skate into the center of the ice along the blue line, moves it to McGroarty, back to Hughes. It's pass dropped back. Michigan quick shot. That one scooped right up by Bartoskevich.
Yeah, Wolverines had a screener in Dylan Duke looking for his 3rd goal of the night. Unable to really get anything on it though. Seamus Casey was kind of, I think, floating it in more as a pass than really a shot.
And the Wolverines will stack both Casey and McGroarty on the left wing side for the faceoff. Puck's one back to Hughes. He'll move it in. Puck trickles out. Minnesota gets a stick on it. They'll ice it back down. Portillo grabs hold of it. He's got Luke Hughes. Starts to move up ice over the Big Ten logo. over the block M at the center of the ice. Michigan now in Minnesota territory. Dylan Duke on the near side corner. He has Samoskevich. He'll use him. Mackey circles down on the near side boards, rips a shot off. That one's in front. Minnesota defender got a stick on it, moved it back. Minnesota picks it back up, moves it along the near side. They'll bring it far side. Here's a 2-on-1. They'll get a shot off wide open. Rebound in front, down a man, no one's there. Michigan picks it back up. Duke to McGroarty, who can't control it on their own blue line. Minnesota moves it back into Michigan zone. Kynes with it. He'll rip a shot off. Portillo scoops it up with his glove. Tries to move it to Hallam for a breakaway. It's intercepted by Cooley. So Cooley back on the ice, not tossed out of this game clearly. We've seen him once more. Hallam picks the puck back up for Michigan. He'll start to move in. 34 seconds remaining in the power play. Not much has come of it yet, Neal.
No, not at all. I mean, Minnesota already had two, honestly, solid opportunities in a power play. It's a shorthanded chance for the Gophers. That can't happen for Michigan. We'll see what Brindley can do here.
Brindley escapes coverage, moves it back down on the near side into the corner. Hallam to Edwards. Near side at the point. Edwards tries to escape coverage. Great job evading the stick there. He'll move it back to the far side. Bounced off the boards to Brindley. Lower circle. Fantilli out front. Shot opportunity. That one deflected by Snuggergaard. Back to Fantilli. He's got pressure on him. Quick pass. Almost perfect to Edwards. Tip between the legs, and that one just misses the goal. Estapa picks it back up in front. And that one, puck goes missing. Seems like it went into a player's pants, perhaps.
And Ciccolini is back on the ice for Michigan. He just comes out of the boards. That is huge for the Wolverines to get Eric Ciccolini. Of course, earlier this period got absolutely lit up for cross-checking by Middlestat for, was it Middlestat? I think it was, might have been Middlestat. Somebody for the Gophers had a cross-check on Ciccolini, went out, looked like he might have been dealing with a shoulder or a head injury, but he is back on the Wolverines bench.
Definitely a non-partisan to say don't want either team to suffer any injuries today. The Wolverines, it seems Ciccolini and Duke both evade the worst that could have happened. Ciccolini's back on the ice now, almost had a rebound opportunity there. Puck in the neutral zone. It's Michigan controlling, Granowicz moves it into Michigan zone. Ciccolini, drop pass to him. He'll bump it back behind the net. Michigan picks it up, trickles out in front. Druskins carries it to the far side. He'll circle in, dumps it back. It's behind the net now. A little bit of a tussle, comes out front. No one's there. Gophers pick it up. They'll move through the neutral zone, over the red line, dump it in, and chase. Gophers first one to get there. They'll move it to the far side. Shot opportunity. Quick save by Portillo. A little bit of a baseball bat action there to knock it towards the net. Didn't quite make it all the way. Brindley carrying it down after a pass from Duke. He'll lose it to Chrysley of Minnesota. Gophers start to move it around. It's chaos in the ice as Pearson trips up on the blue line. Shots off from the far side on Portillo. Quick glove save from Eric Portillo. Old reliable for Michigan.
Definitely old reliable, and we haven't really seen a great game from Portillo so far today. It's kind of seemed like 2 of these 3 goals from Minnesota he would love to have back, but just staying alert there. He loves sticking that left glove out, and it's a great play on him. Michigan, a couple of opportunities on the offensive zone they were unable to convert on, but once again, only down a goal here with 1:23 left in the second period. Norado can't be too mad about that.
Puck's back in play. Shot from the far side in Michigan's territory by the Gophers. They'll move it around. Quick cut in to the near side. Shots off, blocked by Hallam's leg. Good block down on one knee there for that. Puck trickles into the neutral zone. And a Gopher gets tripped up on an errant stick. That's Jackson Hallam's stick. A little bit of retaliation there. We saw a Wolverine lift a stick out of the air. Looks like they're going to be called for something. Excuse me, maybe the call was...
Yeah,
oh, no, they will.
It's going to be tripping on Jackson Hallam there. 2 minutes. Just unfortunate. It looked like he kind of lost his stick, and then it just hooked the Gopher. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Minnesota's going to have a 2-minute power play, one of those minutes will be in this period, the second and the third.
Exactly 1 minute remaining here in the second period. The Wolverines still down 1 to Minnesota. 20 shots for Michigan, 29 for Minnesota. Clock starts running. Puck's back in play. Lacombe moves it over to the far side. One-timer. Good save by Portillo. Michigan ices it back down into Minnesota's zone. It's Bartoszewicz stopping it as Minnesota looks to set up their offense once more. They'll drop it back in the neutral zone on the near side. Here's Nelson controlling, taking into Michigan zone. He'll stay on the near side board, circle back around, looks to get the puck in front. Kynes gets a shot off. It's deflected by a Michigan defender. Minnesota recovers. They'll move it around once more. Michigan protecting that house close to the net. Those of you who don't know, it's essentially the sides of the circles and the point, just fighting to keep that area closed off to Minnesota. Gopher still moving the puck around high up in their own zone, or in Michigan zone rather. Lacombe, he's been back and forth with it. He'll carry it, try to move it down. Looked like Luke Hughes or Brindley got a stick on it. That one moved up in the air. Hughes had the puck, moved it, and with an open net and a stick on it, time expires. Neal, the Wolverines might have just been saved by the clock.
Wow, that was a little scary there for Michigan. Portillo was kind of out of place as the buzzer just goes off for Michigan. Again, that's really all they had to do at the end of that period. They gave themselves a chance in the third to possibly, really tie this game up, and then who knows, maybe even win it. Minnesota, I think, early on in the third period will be very aggressive out of the gates, just trying to get that two-goal advantage and try to kind of put this game away.
Yeah, hockey, one of those games where a one-goal lead means nothing for you. This game can change the bounce of a puck quite literally. So, any final thoughts? I know you're stepping off for the rest of the broadcast.
I think Michigan offensively just has to continue the short passes. They haven't been able to really hold on to the puck in the offensive zone at all today. Again, I know I've sounded like a broken record saying that, but I think they got to try to convert on those short passing to a certain extent, bring back the team that they had last year that was all about the short passes. It seems like they don't really have enough speed today with the players they have in this game right now to, I guess outskate the Gophers. And so if I'm Michigan, try the short passes offensively, a more methodical approach, and we'll see what happens in this third. Great third period to go here.
Yeah, we'll have an exciting one to watch. This was not what some were expecting, I'll tell you that. Michigan down numerous players, including some of their stars. Scoro on the ice. It's Minnesota 3, Michigan 2. We'll be back in about 11 minutes. Michigan hockey, WCBN. Neal, thanks for your call today. We'll be back in a few. Johnny Pasquale and his blues band bringing us the Blues Brothers. The children of Yost singing along, dancing. It's a great environment for our final period of college hockey. Minnesota up 3-2 over Michigan. It's Michigan Hockey on WCBN Sports. I'm Owen Crain alongside Zach Linder. Zach, you were on the call the first period. Ended tied 1-1. You're back with us now. What do you want to see from this team going into the third?
Well, for one, I want to see them score in a 5-on-5, which they haven't done. And I think it goes back to what we saw a lot in the first period. Second period looked a little better, but still far from perfect. They're just not sustaining attacks on offense. It feels like they're really just not coordinated. And as a result, they're either taking weak shots or turning the ball over. They need to be able to spread themselves out over the ice, have passing options. That'll keep Gophers defenders away from the puck and away from the goal. It's just been too easy for Minnesota to either block shots without even getting to the goalie or to just steal the puck.
Those puck turnovers, like you said, have been a killer. Time's expired on the intermission clock. Wolverines not quite on the ice yet. Here they come, led by their goaltender. Number 1, Eric Portillo, skates onto the ice first. Minnesota's third period starting line already at the face-off. Michigan will hustle out, get back on the ice in time. Children of Yost singing along to the victors. Great turnout tonight here in Yost Arena. Stands are packed, standing room only. At the top, sections 27 through 23. Same thing with sections, I think those 14 through 10. We're standing room in Yost. It's a packed house. The children are loud. The players are lined up at our center ice face-off circle. 3-2 the score, 20 minutes on the clock. Michigan starting down a man here in the third. Zach, certainly going to play a factor into how Minnesota starts this period.
Yeah, and I think Minnesota has controlled the puck better for sure this game, and now having an extra man for the first minute really gives them an opportunity to basically not have to play any defense, which they've been very good at doing, only giving up goals when they...
The referee just made an announcement.
It says 2-minute penalty for protocol. I wonder if they're going to bench Linder for not coming out onto the ice in time.
Yeah, that's...
That is just terrible. You cannot have that happen.
This is not what this program needs when starting the third, to go down 2 men, play 5-on-3 for a minute.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of that happened. I mean, there's no reason they shouldn't be on the ice at the end of the intermission.
We're back underway. Clock running again. Michigan only with 3 players. The Wolverines won the faceoff. They'll dump it back down into Minnesota's zone. Minnesota looking to start things off. Here's Kynes on the near side. He's over the blue line. Looks to cut in. Michigan playing a triangle. The only opportunity they have, Lacombe and his defensive partner moving the puck around. It's on the far side now. High up. They'll move it to Cooley. Back to Lacombe. Back to Cooley up top on the near side. He's about the top of the face-off circle. Rips a one-timer. That's over Portillo's left side shoulder. It's a 4-2 game.
Yeah, it's just too easy playing 5-on-3. And I think definitely that penalty that Michigan got at the start of the third period, that's going to be questioned, and it needs to be after the game. Because obviously Michigan was going to be down a man to start. They had the penalty rolling over from the second period. But 5-on-3 is just too easy of a look, puts too much pressure on Portillo. Obviously not able to get the stop there. Still for another minute 22, Minnesota's still going to be up 5-against-4. So this has a chance to really be a disastrous start to the third period for Michigan.
Yeah, 4-2, not a killer given that there's 19:20 left in the third, but certainly not where the Wolverines wanted to be, especially given that one of their penalties was just situational. I'm sure their coach will have words to say about that. Again, though, this team down a lot of players, recuperating. They have a teammate in the hospital. Got to cut him a little bit of slack today. 19:01 remaining in the period. Minnesota controlling in Michigan's territory. It's Johnson. Moves it over to Miscellany on the near side. He'll get a pass in. That one, player tried to get a stick on it. Didn't quite. That one escapes. Michigan dumps it down. And it's Bartoszewicz back behind the net, grabbing onto it. Here come the Golden Gophers. They'll drop it at their own blue line as they start to move through the neutral zone. Michigan, quick steal. God, my words, getting stuck today. I'm sorry. Pitluck steals it back. Then Michigan takes it one more time. Kiernan grabs onto it. He tries to rifle it down. That one's blocked. Hallam to Hughes through the neutral zone. Hughes on the near side looking to make a break in. 20 seconds remaining in the penalty kill for Michigan. 18:15 on the clock. It's the third. Casey in the neutral zone as the puck came back out. We'll take it back over the block M at the center of the ice. Looks to get a shot off. It's deflected away. 3, 2, 1. Michigan back to full strength now. 5-on-5 play for the first time. 17:57 remaining here in the third period. Puck back behind the red line on the far side. Dylan Duke picks it up in Minnesota's zone. It's poked out into the neutral zone. Seamus Casey grabs it for the Wolverines. Here comes Kynes for the Gophers. He's knocked down by Samoskevich, who's got himself aggressive playing stature. Wolverines, one trickles out front. Dylan Duke, quick one-timer in front of the net. That's right into the chest of Bartoszewicz.
Yeah, I mean, Dylan Duke had a chance right there. I mean, it wasn't a terribly difficult save for Bartoszewicz. But at least Wolverines showing a little puck possession there after getting back to full strength. That's going to be the key if they want to overcome this 2-goal deficit. They just need to have the puck and have shots to take.
They're controlling the puck. What they're struggling to do is keep it in Minnesota's zone. The Golden Gophers, the number 2 team in the country, good at poking that puck back into the neutral zone, making Michigan recoup. 17:30 remaining in the third. Puck's dropped. Gophers dump it into Michigan's zone. It's going to turn into an ice. We'll have a stoppage in play and a puck drop on the same side in Michigan's zone.
Yeah, that obviously, now getting the icing, it doesn't seem, Wolverines haven't done a great job winning faceoffs, it seems, and that's just something, you gotta win this faceoff, because you get the icing call, you lose the faceoff, the puck's going right back over, and they're just gonna, well, Minnesota up 22-19 in faceoffs, they have the puck here, they're just gonna clear it again.
So the Golden Gophers win the faceoff. They'll take it through the neutral zone. Ref has his hand up. We're going to have a delayed penalty, it seems. Excuse me, it looks like it was a delayed offsides. A little bit of a collision there. Samoskevich controlling into Minnesota's zone. He'll skate back behind the net. Hughes, one-timer shot. Open rebound for Kieran, and that one's back off the blocker of Bartoszewicz. The Golden Gophers recover. Strobel takes it down to the near side, just inside the blue line. He'll stop, try to pull up with it. Drops it to another teammate who cross-ice passes it essentially to no one in the neutral zone. Jackson Hallam escapes with it. He's tripped up. Ref has his hand up. Michigan will have themselves a 2-minute power play. 16:40 left in the third.
And they've been a very good power play team all year. They obviously have the 2 power play goals tonight. This is huge for them. They absolutely must score here. Get it back to a goal. They're probably going to need a 5-on-5 goal in this game to win. But if they can get another power play goal here, that really would go a long way. Obviously, Upman, they have to do a better job controlling the puck. And as you mentioned, not just controlling it, but keeping it in the Minnesota zone so that they maximize the 2 minutes they have up a man.
Now 4-2, not too shabby for Michigan. If they can cut this deficit to 1, I don't think people will be looking at them too poorly. Connor Irgood of the Daily and WCBN tweeting out earlier that this is a game that should have been canceled given all the Wolverine substitutions needed today, all the illness. So Michigan, just like that, Hallam, who was tripped up earlier in the neutral zone, will trip up a Gopher. That's going to give up the rest of this power play to 4-on-4 action.
Yeah, I mean, almost identical tripping penalties right there, and that's just not something they could afford. They needed the power play, and now they've lost it.
That's a tough one for the Wolverines, certainly not what you like to see if you are a Michigan fan. The children of Yost silent right now. Not too much action from that student section at the moment. They've certainly brought the energy so far today, though. Face-off in Michigan's zone on the far side. Minnesota wins it back to their point on the far side. Hughes fights for it. So does Casey. He'll steal it away from a Golden Gopher. Dylan Duke puts on the pressure as well. It's going to trickle up the boards on the far side. Samoskevich gets his stick on it. It's back to Cooley of Minnesota, then taken away once more by Hughes on the near side. Samoskevich, near side, neutral zone. He'll skate up. Looks to cut in as he enters Golden Gopher territory. Tries to move it to the front of the net. It's off the stick of someone. Bartoskevich scoops it up and then releases it. Again, 4-on-4 play. Gophers ice it down. Might have thought they were still on the penalty kill. They're not. In fact, they'll have 13 seconds of power play, or 17 rather. Checking my math. When they return in about a minute 25.
Yeah, we saw their potential hook around the goal, but again, there's really Wolverines their skaters have not had enough support to keep the possessions, making it too easy for the Gophers to clear it. They obviously get the icing there, but they'd rather not even get to that situation.
Puck back in play. Essentially iced down once more. This time Ethan Edwards gets there in time. No whistle. Gavin Brindley controlling for the Wolverines through the center ice logo. Tries to get into Minnesota's zone, but Rucker McGroarty's offsides. Couldn't quite hold one toe on the right side of the blue line. Love a stoppage in play, 15:29 on the clock.
Even like offsides like that still prevent the Wolverines from even getting an attack. So it just kind of shows the various reasons Wolverines have struggled in offense for most of this game.
4-on-4 still. 40 seconds left for Minnesota in the box. A minute left for Michigan. Offsides called on Minnesota as they entered Michigan's territory on the far side. Another stoppage.
It's not like Minnesota's necessarily built out super long possessions either. As we see, they have a mental miscue there. They've more just done a good job of preventing Michigan from controlling the puck and just kind of winning the time and possession battle to get out to their 4-2 lead.
Face-off just outside the blue line on the far side. Slower moving period than we've seen for the other two. Lots of delays. You can hear the boos from the crowd. The referee stopped from dropping the puck for a second. Casey controlling for Michigan. He's under pressure. Drops to Fantilli. Fantilli has LaPointe on the near side. He'll use him. Tries to pass to Estapa on the far side in the neutral zone. It gets away from him. Wolverines still get the puck into Minnesota's territory. Casey controlling. It's poked away from him. So he tries to do an escape move on the far side corner in the Golden Gophers zone. They'll move it back behind the net to the near side. Another escape move used by the Gophers defender. He'll pass up ice near side. It's number 81 for Minnesota. Evading defense, he'll drop it to Nelson at the point, who skates in. He'll get a shot off. That one misses the goal on the left side by just a few. Costa recovers at the point. Goes D to D, back to Costa. Few passes, they'll rip it around. That one off the post. Excuse me. Did not go off the post. That went into the net. Called a goal by the referee who stops play. Seems that Michigan's players didn't realize that one went in either. Zach, it's a 5-2 game.
Yeah, and I think Wolverines may have technically been up to full strength, but I think Gophers clearly took advantage of the setup they had of the 17 seconds of a power play. Reviewing the play, but it sure looked to me like it did go in and bounced out.
And we got that little bit of a vantage point of the goal. We can check what the referees are looking at. Seems that they have their call very clearly and quickly. It is a goal. Referee points his hand at center ice. 5-2 the score with 14:21 remaining in this match.
And at this point, with the way the Wolverines have played, obviously the illness outbreak affecting them, it does seem very improbable for them to come back. It looks like they're likely going to be looking for a split tomorrow, but of course they're going to have the same personnel issues. They really just cannot afford to get swept this series if they want to get that top spot in the Big Ten and earn a first-round bye in the tournament.
Yeah, an important game. I don't think you can't gang up on Michigan too much, like you said, because of their injuries this week. They're down quite a few players. Right now, they're just playing for pride, playing for their team. That's one of the beautiful things about college hockey. Brindley, one-on-one break. He has Samoskevich pass, puck knocked away by the Golden Gophers. Here they come on their own sort of break. Offsides called as they tried to enter Michigan zone. A little bit of a late action play, a little bit of a scuffle between Dylan Duke and a Gopher there. The Gopher went off sides, held onto the puck for a little too long for Dylan Duke's liking.
Yeah, we've seen the game's gotten a bit chippy. I expected more physicality than we've had. Hasn't been anything too much. Of course, only the first of 4 matchups against these two teams on the season.
13:50 on the clock. Puck's back in play after its face-off just outside the blue line. Michigan tries to dump it into Minnesota's zone. Quick scuffle for it along the boards. Puck comes back out in front on the far side, and just like that, Bartoskevich has a glove on it. Another stoppage in play, 13:38.
Yeah, Wolverines kind of crowding to goal, which we've seen them do on offense a lot. It just really hasn't worked because they're seeing more focus on just getting the puck near the goal than actually setting up the quality shots to get the puck into the goal.
13:35 on the clock, back in play. Minnesota wins the faceoff, takes it through the neutral zone. Seamus Casey chasing it after the dump into Michigan's territory. It's trickled out in front, puck's out. No one's there to pick it up. Casey recovers for Michigan, moves it up ice, and the Wolverines dump it in on the far side. Quick stop back behind the net by the Gophers. Michigan putting pressure on. Tough view from the student radio booth up here. We got a little bit of a beam in our way of Michigan's or Minnesota's defensive zone. Hard to see what's going on there. Puck's back out anyways. Minnesota controlling in Michigan's territory. They're under a lot of pressure. Turn it right over to Estapa. He has Hughes if he needs him. He's under pressure. Looks like he won't. Takes it up through the far side of the neutral zone. Carries it all the way to a shot. That one's a little errant to the side. Jackson Hallam keeps it in for Michigan, but turns it over to the Gophers, who start on a run. Looks like a hand pass is called, hence the whistle.
Yeah, as you mentioned, a lot of stoppages here. It seems obviously Gophers got the one goal after their very brief power play, but it seems like neither offense is really getting into a rhythm. Not very complimentary play on either side. They do a lot of offsides, icings, their hand pass.
Yeah, back and forth play so far. Neither team, like you said, establishing that offensive possession time that is so crucial in the sport of hockey. If you can get a shot and then get a few rebounds, things tend to go your way. Minnesota has had more luck with it, but given Michigan's situation, they haven't done as well as they should have. That's for certain. Michigan, the puck back in its own zone, dumps it back down, icing waved off. The Golden Gophers pick it up in their own territory and start the breakout. Here's Kynes at about the red line, center ice on the near side, dumps it down. He's looking for someone who wasn't there at first, but recovers after Hughes took a misstep on the puck. They move it out to the far side point. Here's a shot. That one off the crossbar. You could hear the ring of that one. It's deflected off the glass back behind the goal. Kynes controlling once more. He has Middlestott up top. He opts for Cooley, still in the near side corner. Cooley controlling just below the red line. He'll move it up. Cuts back under pressure from Brindley. Tries to toe drag around. He can't. Looks to get it to Middlestott, who fumbled the puck for a moment but recovers, dumps it back down low. Gophers still in possession. Samoskevich grabs it away from a point man. He'll take it through the neutral zone. A toe drag, few fancy moves here and there, and he'll dump it down. Gophers able to break out without too much pressure, however. They move it up to mid-ice very quickly. It's Strobel chasing after it after he dumped it in. Fantilli gets there first. He has Druskins. Druskins unable to control. It's dumped back down by the center for Minnesota. LaPointe grabs it on the far side for Michigan, dumps it back into the neutral zone. Very back and forth game we have here. Fantilli grabs it in the neutral zone, dumps it in for Michigan. He's not ready to commit to being on the blue line yet, nor should he. Puck trickles back out, goes D to Pearson. They give it to LaPointe, who dumps it in. It's just one Michigan player providing a forecheck here. Golden Gophers move it back out. Michigan got itself some fresh legs on the ice. Here's Casey fighting with Strobel at the point, who gets away. He'll get the puck in towards Portillo. shot just misses the right side of the goal by a few inches. That one was a slow roller, but I don't think Portillo saw it. McGroarty controlling through the neutral zone into Minnesota's territory, rather. Edwards lays a nice hit, but Minnesota recovers the puck. They'll come down one-on-one. Good defense from Casey, staying in the middle just to make sure nothing could happen. Good save from Eric Portillo. Middlestad tries to move it in for Minnesota. Pass is deflected back to the near side corner. It's Hallam and Casey who recover it for Michigan. Edwards takes it on the far side. He looks for Hallam on the near side cross-ice pass. Hallam will grab it. He'll get a shot off. Gophers goalie picked it up, but lets it play. We're under 10 minutes remaining in the third here. 5-2 still the score. Minnesota outshooting Michigan 34-26. Those shots have certainly tightened up. Minnesota back with the puck in the neutral zone. It's Pitlock controlling. He'll move it back into his own zone. Near side defender with it now. He has Middlestat. Instead, he'll opt to skate down just past the red line at center ice and dump it in. Luke Hughes breaks it out to Brindley on the near side. He's under pressure now, has Samoskevich. He'll opt to dump it in. Samoskevich chases. Puck makes it to the far side corner where Samoskevich is there to receive. Little bit of a tussle for the puck down low. Few hits. Children of Yost enjoying the scuffle. Brindley, puck out front. Can't get his stick on it. It's ripped back around the boards. Out to Dylan Duke once more. Samoskevich almost got his stick on a shot there. He's ripped away. He's not happy. Bumps a Golden Gopher stick away. No call on the play. Here's Navis for Minnesota. Puck trickled out. It's down in Michigan zone now. First block by Portillo. That one rebounded. Almost a goal opportunity there, and a referee has his hand up. Called for the stick on the ice. Zach, I'm not sure what the call was. That was a chaotic period.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, saw with the puck in the blue by the Minnesota goal, Wolverines had a chance, but as you mentioned, Brindley just couldn't get a stick on the puck. And of course, Samoskevich didn't like it. But yeah, still just kind of scattered play here. Not really much of anything going on. As you mentioned, the shots are fairly tight at 34-27, given what the score is.
Yeah, I feel like this has been a very back and forth and competitive game. It's just that without Michigan's key players, a few spots open up here and there, and Minnesota's just able to take advantage.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like the Wolverines really, yeah, I feel like more they haven't done enough on offense, and then when the Gophers have gotten their offensive chances, which admittedly there haven't been a ton of, they have not exactly played a clean game, but when they had the chances, they've been pretty successful with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, 8:49 remaining in this third period. We're in the Big Ten Network TV timeout. Figure skaters came on the ice to scoop up some of that excess snow, and Zach, they sure do grab a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you only have the one stoppage during the period after the 10-minute mark, and there's a lot on there. Of course, ran the Zamboni before the start of the period. The ice definitely takes a beating, much more so than the surface does in any other sport.
You'll hear people on campus who say they like the Children of Yost better than the Big House, and I certainly believe they have a point. I do think part of that, though, is they don't realize just how fun it is to watch a game without every other whistle, a 4-minute commercial break for Fox or ESPN like you do at football.
Yeah, definitely hockey's much more favorable than football or basketball. Of course, you have the two longer intermissions, but beyond that, only having the one media timeout that's only like a minute or a minute and a half versus having like 8 3-minute timeouts every half.
It's a game changer for the fans here, enjoying some Bon Jovi. That last play ended quickly in the glove of Bartoskevich of Minnesota. Face off on the far side in Minnesota zone. Estapa, as well as Jackson Nelson from Minnesota. Both moved their sticks too early. The ref steps back. Here's the puck drop. He'll win it back to Luke Hughes. Hughes cuts in on the far side and uses his backhand. Bartoskevich got his glove on that one. Didn't look like he was sure. He'll drop down to his knees for the whistle. 8:34 left in the third.
Yeah, definitely. Bartoszewicz has had a very solid game here. I mean, obviously, despite the fact that the Wolverines seem to have really not been smooth on offense at all, they've still gotten 28 shots off, and there has been a lot of pressure right at the goal by against Bartoszewicz, and he's handled it very well, only allowing the 2 shorthanded goals.
Minnesota brings the puck to the blue line. They can't quite get it out of their zone, but they're away from pressure. Now it's to the neutral zone. Errant pass, though, picked up by Hallam. Hallam tripped up by a stick, no call. It's Kiernan on defense with it. Errant pass by him, intercepted by the Gophers. A little bit of a fight for it at the Wolverines' blue line. Michigan, in the end, picks it up. McGroarty had it for a moment. He'll turn it right over to Minnesota. Players moving slowly as the Wolverines get a full line change. Dylan Duke putting pressure on Minnesota as they begin the breakout through the neutral zone. Now here's Cooley cutting through the near side. Won't take a shot. He's deep in Michigan's zone. They'll move it out to Kosker at the near side point. Down low to Kynes. Kynes circles up. He has the puck back to Kosker on the near side point. Quick shot down. Good stop by Portillo as it ricocheted back out in front of the net. Portillo moved it back to the corner. Minnesota still controlling the puck, but under pressure. Cooley, an opportunity, a one-timer in front. That one just misses the net. Koster back with the puck on the near side. He'll cut down low. Portillo down low. Kynes gets the puck in front of the net after the Golden Gophers moved it around. And finally, the Wolverines get a moment to breathe. Fantilli grabs it back behind the net, takes his time, looks for the breakout. He'll start it, move it over to Gavin Brindley. Brindley tries to take it in front. He's got deflection, and his shot just knocked to the side. We'll have a whistle as it goes into the netting.
Yeah, I mean, they're shot 29 for Michigan, but with that said, it feels like a lot of it is them rushing shots instead of passing the puck around and getting the right angle. And I think that's why the shots are so close, yet the score is 5-2. It feels like the Wolverines, when they are getting shots off, they're just too quick.
7:03 in the third. Pucks drop 5-2 still the score. Minnesota 35 shots to Michigan's 29. Golden Gophers win the puck in their own end on the near side. They'll knock it down on the far side into Michigan's zone. No icing call. It stops just in time. Edwards gets there. Minnesota steals it away real quick. They'll move it to the near side point. It's Lacombe once more. We've heard his name plenty today. He's done a good job keeping the puck in. Not enough there as Seamus Casey picks it up for Michigan. Cuts through the neutral zone to LaPointe. This one's going to head all the way over to the far side in Minnesota's zone. A lot of new names on the ice. Excuse my struggle with it at times. A little bit of a tussle for it on the near side boards. Minnesota moves it back behind the goal line. They've got control of the puck now. They'll start to move it down into the neutral zone. It's Lacombe. He'll dump it in. Strobel was standing there for a moment. Looked like a Wolverine got his stick on the puck. High sticking seems to be the call, so we'll have a face-off on the near side of Michigan's zone. 6:07 left in the third.
And as you had mentioned earlier, really this period been eerily silent in here after a lot of energy from the children of Yost in the first 2 periods. But the 2 early goals by Minnesota that essentially put the game away drained a lot of energy.
That did take some energy. The children of Yost still happy. They'll finish the victors. We're back to play. 6 minutes in the third left. Here's Lamb cutting down the middle of the ice. He's got an opportunity. Referee has his hand up for a penalty. Looks like it might be called on Mark Estapa. It will. He'll head to the box. We'll wait for the call. Here's the referee. Call is slashing. Looks like it must have happened in front of the net. Michigan will be down a man for the next 2 minutes. Just under 6 minutes remaining here in the third.
And obviously, when they're hoping for miracles, down 3 with 6 minutes left, that's not what they need, essentially taking 2 minutes out of the game, where they're just trying to play defense and clear the puck.
Yeah, certainly not, Zach. This game, the likelihood of a Michigan comeback continues to deteriorate before our eyes. This certainly does not help. Brindley wins the faceoff in Michigan's zone. He'll dump it down. Hallam aggressively chasing. Great forecheck from Hallam. He'll move it to the front of the net. Brindley got a shot on it. Good block there from Bartoszewicz for Minnesota. Golden Gophers start to move the puck back out. Errant pass in the neutral zone means they'll regroup in their own defensive end. They'll take it on the near side, move it cross ice in the neutral zone to the far side. Wrapped around the board's going to end up with Coster. He'll bring it down low. Quick pass out to the point. Good shot off. Nice block from Gavin Brindley. Looks like he's a tad hurt. He's kind of crouching down. That must have hurt the inside thigh a tad. Shot off. That one not quite on net. Ricochets off to the near side. Coster with the puck. He'll go D to D. Back to Middlestat to Coster at the top point. Portillo, juicy rebound out front. No one can seem to get a stick on it. Portillo falls on the puck. That'll drive away a minute of the penalty kill for Michigan. 4:57 remaining in the third.
Yeah, I was wondering when Michigan briefly had an offensive chance and at the start of the power play, I was wondering how aggressively they would play this. Obviously, just playing defense doesn't exactly bode well when you're down 3 late in the third period. But then they really just haven't even had a chance to clear the puck, let alone go on an offensive attack as their puck crowded around the Michigan goal and Portillo with no chance but to fall on it and get a reset.
Minnesota wins the faceoff. They'll start to move the puck around. Kiernan putting pressure on, falls down. Looked like he got a little tripped up back behind the goal line. Lacombe with a shot from the near side point. That one right into the chest of Eric Portillo. Another stoppage in play. 45 seconds left in the kill for Michigan. 4:41 in the third.
Yeah, Portillo really has had a difficult night out there. Just a ton of shots. That's shot number 39. Obviously doesn't want to be giving up the 5 goals, but it has been a rough night.
He's faced a torrent. McGroarty with the puck for Michigan back behind the net. He'll pass it out to Granowicz. It's a 2-on-1. Aaron pass to Hughes. Back to Granowicz. He can't control it. Michigan's best opportunity in a few minutes goes awry without any success there. Lacombe recovers for Minnesota. They move it to the far side, dump it back down on the near side. Kynes knocks over Kiernan from behind. No sort of call. It was pretty clean. Michigan, however, comes back away with the puck. Once more, it's Rutger McGroarty. He'll cut into the zone. He has Granowicz if he needs him. Also, Seamus Casey is there. Casey chasing after Minnesota came away with the puck. Looks like the Wolverines will lose a Gatorade bottle till the ice is quickly picked back up. We're back to full strength from Michigan. 5-on-5 play, 3:50 left in the third. Minnesota controlling in the Wolverine zone. They'll move it to Lamb in front of that. Here's a shot opportunity. Big rebound. No one's there to grab onto it. It's going to be a stopper coming away with it for Michigan. He'll skate through the neutral zone, move up on the near side, cut in and stop back. 3:32 left on the clock. Now Wolverines still facing a 3-goal deficit. Will they pull Portillo? Question of the hour. My guess, probably not, but never does hurt. Minnesota dumps it back down. Or excuse me, Michigan dumped it back down. Minnesota picked it up behind their own net. Here they come once more. The Golden Gophers, that is. Moving in on the near side. Good hit from the Wolverines. That's LaPointe playing some defense there. Michigan starting to move the puck back up. Fantilli grabbed a hold of it, moved it through the neutral zone, and dumped it for the change. Michigan putting some pressure on down low. Can't get a read on the number. That pole still in our way. It's a killer. Minnesota, it's Johnson coming up through the neutral zone. He'll move it to the near side, all the way back to Pitluck on the near side. Excuse me. I'm getting too excited, losing my sides. Puck back in the neutral zone after it was knocked away. It's a chase for it. Samoskevich putting some pressure on. He's followed up by number 22 for Michigan. With some more pressure. Brindley grabs the puck in the neutral zone after Minnesota knocked it out. He'll move it back to Edwards. So Edwards on the near side, skating towards the middle of the ice. Over the center ice logo as the puck knocked away from him, but Brindley picks it up and dumps it into Minnesota's zone. 2:14 on the clock here, left in the third. Strobel for Minnesota dumps it down to Portillo, who stops it, hands it off to Luke Hughes. Hughes has options. Errant pass into Strobel's stick. Puck trickles back into the neutral zone. Shot back in. Kiernan tried to get a hand on it. That looks like it's got to hurt. He'll grab the puck, hand it off to Draper. Draper with the puck through the neutral zone, just over the red line at center, dumps it in for Michigan. Minnesota comes away with control once more. Zach, this game has been back and forth. Nelson with it on the near side. Luke Hughes tried to stop him, knocked down a tad. Looks like these Wolverines are running out of steam. 1:33 left here in the third. Still no sign of pulling Portillo. Minnesota has had complete control of the puck the past few minutes. Puck dumped back down into Michigan's zone. Portillo gets a stick on it. Seamus Casey with it back behind the net. He'll start his drive through the neutral zone. He has a stopper. He'll use him on the near side. A stopper at the blue line. Tries to shoot it in. That one's stopped by a Minnesota defender who gets over the red line, dumps it back down once more. Just over a minute to play in the game here. Michigan still down 3. 40 shots for the Golden Gophers, 30 for the Wolverines. It's LaPointe tipping it in for Michigan. On the dump on the near side. Minnesota picks it back up. LaPointe recovers, gets a shot off. That one misses the net by a few feet. Michigan still fighting for it. Looks like LaPointe circled back to get there. Wolverines get the puck out front. Quick shot opportunity. Nothing comes of it. 44.1 seconds left in the third.
And as you mentioned, these past few minutes, the Wolverines really haven't had the puck at all, which almost feels emblematic of how the entire game has gone.
Back and forth. In hockey, you need to have set control of that puck to pull your goaltender. Michigan has no chance to pull Portillo. They essentially guarantee Minnesota a goal. 44 seconds left. You can't score 3. This game, it's Michigan just fighting for its pride right now, which it has done a valiant job of so far today. You can tell they're tired. They're short-winded. They're short men. They've played a strong game and a tough game of hockey. Michigan controlling. They'll move it to the near side. Quick shot off that one into the blockers of Bartoskevich. Puck back on the near side. We're under 25 seconds left now. It's rung around in Minnesota's zone to the far side. They'll flip it up into the neutral zone. Minnesota trying to make one last run. They'll get one more shot off on Portillo. 10 seconds on the clock now. That was a blocker save from him, by the way. One more. Try to move it out front. No one's home to pick it up. Pearson with it in the neutral zone. 2-1. That's the game. Michigan falls to Minnesota. 5-2, but again, Zach, down quite a few men and starters. Not too shabby of a performance.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the circumstances were tough. I do just wonder if you look at this Wolverines team, because this game to me really wasn't competitive, and you look, and they're trying to get a split tomorrow because this is the team that they're probably fighting for the #1 spot in the Big Ten standings at the end of the year. We obviously saw last year, going into the last week, they seem to be in good position to get the 1 seed, which in the Big Ten with 7 teams, that gets you a bye through the first best-of-3 round. Got swept by Notre Dame, got knocked out. Then they did go at Minnesota and win in the Big Ten tournament to win the conference. Last year split 4 games against Minnesota. But I just think they're in a bind here because they need a win tomorrow, but they're going to need to make a lot of changes, and of course they can't just magically bring their starters back. So I just don't know what. I think that they need an approach change to have more methodical offense, because it felt to me they weren't controlling the puck well, but then it felt their response was to rush shots, and that clearly wasn't working. It inflated the shot total. It didn't get their goals out. 31 shots to 2 goals. That's because a lot of those shots were too quick, too far away, and bad angles.
I agree with everything you said besides this not being a competitive game. That's the one place where I'll disagree with you on that. I think the Wolverines held their own given the circumstances, and I look forward to a rematch of this matchup back when both of these teams are at full strength, because Michigan holding its own with the #2 team in the country. I mean, they're ranked #3. This is a force to be reckoned with in a 3-goal deficit. Yeah, tough circumstances, like you said. It was back and forth all game. I think Michigan, if they come back tomorrow and put on another performance like this, maybe the puck bounces their way a few more times, they have a chance to be in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I just think obviously they were, after 2 periods down 3-2, it just looked to me, and obviously you're considering the circumstances. I'm just looking with the team, with the way the team looked, it looked to me like even when Minnesota was only up 1, they clearly were possessing the puck longer than Michigan. And I think that was the big detriment that led to them ultimately pulling away with the game with the 2 goals in the third period. So I think if Michigan wants to win, they just need to fight. I think something needs to change. They somehow just need to find a way to control the puck longer and mount more sustained offensive attacks. As you mentioned, keeping possession. This back and forth thing obviously isn't going to let them score. And I think somehow, some way with the players they have, if they want a chance tomorrow, they have to change. what they're doing on offense.
Michigan falls 5-2 to Minnesota. WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan athletics continues tonight at 9:30. Our boys, William Gregory and Kellen Flynn, down in Brooklyn for an invitational covering Michigan men's basketball. I don't have the full details on the game. I got to look, but they will be on the air at 9:30. Keep here at the WCBN Sports YouTube channel for coverage of that game. So until they're back on from us, Neal, Sinha, Zach Linder, sorry there. was about to say Linfield. Owen Crain and the whole WCBN Sports team saying good night and go blue. We'll see you later tonight and tomorrow.